Oh, welcome back to another episode of Elden Ring. First off, uh, I was doing this as blind as I could, you know, playing the game all the way up to killing the first boss in the game. Uh, Here, in this place, we get smithing stones because that's where they're found in the mines. But yeah, it took a couple of tries. The best way to handle these guys is if you notice, they're made out of stone. So, well, not made out of stone. Certain items have a corruptive effect on those who mine it. Smithing stones slowly turn the body to stone. Well, it makes it stone hard. Main reason why I say that is they're extremely weak to fire damage. Downright explosive with it. But this is me playing. I default to the shielded spear for most dungeons. With people, I'm just testing the waters, you could say, see how doable this place is with this kit. But for the moment, I plan on using a faith support melee build. Melee's the main focus, but it has support stats here and there. But try figure out which would be the best. But I actually like the design of some of these dungeons. Sometimes they're heavily punishing for new people. But that's kind of the point. They're FromSoft, the creators here, have a really good methodology when it comes to level design, in that they'll purposely put a shitty item out as bait for a trap. And obviously spears aren't that good. And this is where I retreat and come back with something more suited. But yeah, stone enemies, pretty much any enemy that's made out of stone, will have a high resistance to pierce damage. But it does... pierce damage also has an effect where it it's really hard to actually make something armor-wise that can't be pierced. So most enemies can't bypass it completely. So, yeah, obviously the flask efficiency in this first run is shit. So, let's come back with the correct tools. Alright. I kind of grinded on, had to cut about 20 minutes out because I realized I didn't have the stats to use the spell. But I can pretty much stun lock them if I break their poise. But as a band-aid solution, we can craft fire pots with the fireflies. Smoldering butterflies we've collected at the beginning of the game, grinding for Godfrey's soldier set. And, yeah. Apparently, smithing stones are also extremely flammable. And in this game, it kind of seems like they're a combination of coal and whetstone. So yeah, I'm kind of exploring the dungeon, grinding runes as I go. So yeah, I got pretty good at using the shield against these guys. The only problem, though, I think the pickaxe is supposed to be a counter for shields. You know, because they're designed to mine ore. And stone. But, yeah. Everything can't be accurate. Yeah, occasionally I find the bloodstains and activate them. But you know you're in a hard place when you see an entire floor full of them. But occasionally I've been finding random hidden wall comments on places that definitely look like they could be a hidden wall, but aren't. But yeah, these smithing stones are going to be a bit useful in the round table once you bottleneck your current leveling progression for runes. That's when you start buffing your weapons and that. So, also something I found out that I noticed that kind of peeves me. Occasionally, whenever you pick up a brand new item or loot an item from an enemy, it disables the ability to use the shield until you mash Y, which is the tutorial explanation for the item. Or lets you know what the item you picked up is. But yeah, that's new. Miners that breathe fire. Which is kind of, oh, it's pretty much, it has a hint of hypocrisy. It's the akin of me wielding active uranium without any PPU. Scratch that. Negative PPU. But yeah, I had to craft some more pots. But it's a bit odd. Sometimes you can block fire, but part of it passes through your shield. You know, only a percentage actually bleeds through the shield. But it's the more fire damage, and even the more rapid the damage tick is, it kind of seems more bleeds through. Oh, yeah, I ran out of pots, if memory serves correct. Grenadier. And Gonzo. Yeah, I don't know how you can run through here without aggroing or dying. Yep, obvious, yeah. So, occasionally the game will just give you an item. But I'm trying to aggro him without aggroing another. Oh, I failed at that. Partly because, some enemies actually do have a leadership AI. And or class AI. For example, ranged units will tend to follow the melee ones and slowly back away out of melee. So, if there's a melee enemy, they'll run at you when the ranged guy tries to snipe you. Sometimes they also call to each other too, or some invisible cue or telegraphed cue. But if you need smithing stones, these guys drop them. So if you run out of smithing stones you pulled out of the walls here, and pretty much any place you find this type of enemy. Also, if you have a high arcane stat with silver pickle feet, but this will work until you get the bell bearing for smithing stones. Also, if you find any somber ones, don't waste them, or try not to. Obviously, I have to go get this item. there's a... I think that's a somber. But yeah, somber smithing stones can be used to upgrade unique weapons. Unique weapons can only be upgraded with them. So if you plan on having a particular unique weapon for your character, for your run or build, there's only a finite amount of them in each playthrough. Summon the wolves. I just kind of ran in here because Stake America is nearby. If you die, you do lose your runes, but your flasks get recharged. Out of pity. Pretty much if you killed one of these in the overworld, it's pretty much the same fight. Also, this one also has stone mutation similar to the miners, so he will have resistance to pierce. But apparently when I went to go look back through this to commentate over it like I am now, I didn't realize, well, I think I only had the spear. So yeah, I have to run all the way back. But I just need to run to the elevator. Also, for some strange reason, sometimes I've noticed the critical doesn't, well, critical, whenever you knock them down, you're supposed to be able to light attack and insta-kill them, glory kill. Like, similar to backstab. Alright, I decided to cut there, because it was literally just me killing all those same enemies again. Now, this time I've swapped weapons to a two-handed sword. I managed to get through there without, and with only using one flask. Also, I haven't been using the Wondrous Physic, because I haven't collected cracked tears yet. But yeah, this two-handed sword, for some reason, all colossal swords have good voice break damage. But yeah, that's to show you there. Sometimes you just need to try a different setup. With pretty in-depth enemy damage scaling and typings and resistances like this game has. And the complexity of nuances therein really rewards you for collecting every item you can find. So, yeah, I checked to make sure I grabbed the item from the elevator. Decided to read some of these signs. Alright, after a cut there, went back, used the teleporter. It's mostly checking to see if any of those signs were telling the truth, that there being a hidden passage. Well, I accidentally died. Good news is I figured out that there is a back jump. Bad news is I had enough runes to level up. As soon as I used the golden runes I picked up. But yeah, it's a little hard to find where you're supposed to go. But developers were kind enough to put little candles for you. But yeah, put points in strength for the moment. Like I have this rule when it comes to leveling vigor. You might as well not level vigor until you have flasks that can actually fill it. Because what good is 30 vigor when you can only use heal back 25? I mean, at 20. What point is having that 10 extra vigor? Go ahead and everyone has a different use for the markers, but I like to put the skull on finished dungeons. Oh, to the next dungeon. Oh, just so you know, since I plan on collecting every viable item in the game, if I don't have enough runes to level up,
what is it?
And I don't have access to a place to grind runes, also I'll occasionally it doesn't matter if you sell the runes or use them in the inventory. It's just a few less buttons to sell those runes.
Always a...
That, and when the game first came out, those rune clusters weren't, you can only use them one at a time.
Goodbye. Nice to do.
So, ah. So, if we come out here, follow this lake and river. Also, try not to pick a fight with the dragon. It'll make more sense a bit later why. Because he will easily kill you. Also, anything with the word dragon in its name as a weapon or attack, and as a weapon or spell, will deal bonus damage to dragons. It's pretty much the concept of the Pokemon reasoning. Dragons can kill other dragons because that's what they do. They're very territorial. If they weren't good at killing other dragons, then they would be the ones dead. That and weapons designed to kill dragons, or made out of dragons. But, yeah, I was trying to do the patches quest. But then I remembered, Finger. If you, just start running in a straight line here, Uh, I did accidentally go too far. But when you see Bloody Finger Hunter spawned in, stop running. But yeah, if you can kill skeletons by breaking their bones as they revive, or use holy damage. These things, they're pretty slow, but they do hit like a tank. And they have very high damage, physical damage resistance. It also doesn't help that I've only been leveling up strength and vigor occasionally, alongside endurance. But whenever you're in doubt, always endurance.
Just joining the fray, tarnished.
Trust me, it makes the later game a bit easier when you have tons and tons of items.
Tarnished.
You know, you obviously want to be able to use those items and make builds.
One last word of warning. Stay clear of a Gill Lake.
That and
Dragon, it's as fearsome.
stamina bar is really, really
Stay clear of the lake.
useful. But I tried to respawn the Bloody Finger. I had to reset it. But I never knew this. If you just ignored the Bloody Finger and run outside of his territory, he just poofs. So I decided to go into Nope, I didn't go into the cave, but I guess he could go into the cave where Patches is. But yeah, Elden Ring is probably one of the most obvious Game of the Year games I've played. I guess I did go to patches. It's been a while since I recorded this. Then I also have 3 and 4 waiting to be commentated as of this moment. Oh yeah, I forgot. I haven't found the lantern guy yet. And I didn't want to look up a guide. You know, do it off the memory and all. By the way, this cave made me hate patches. I recommend coming here later level and not with a spear and shield, because every enemy in there is built against shields and even patches. So spears too. So I just equipped a sword. So with this sword, I can get arcs, which are a bit better for AoE in tight quarters. But yeah, if you want the Morgott shackle, you do have to do this cave and come back with enough runes. If you want to use it against the first iteration of Morgott, which I decided not to for this playthrough. Mostly because how much this cave is a huge pain in the fucking ass for melee. But, yeah, it does take a couple of tries. Also, be pretty careful with the poison. If you have the, ability to get the poison cure spell, it's a pretty good early game spell. I kind of like using the spell version of consumables, mostly because I don't need to farm the resources to make them. So pretty much, oh yeah, that's right. I got lost looking for patches. Because, where patches is, well, right there, it's, a cave entrance slash cave hallway that blends in directly behind where you were standing after you fight, the friends of Patches. I decided to try the shield and spear for this boss fight. Before I found out how much of a stupid idea that was.
Well, well, well. Thought you'd just help yourself to a man's personal belongings, huh? You scheming little thief. The gods demand repentance.
But yeah, to aggro the boss, you do need to open the chest and take the clothing inside, which are actually Patches' pajamas. And that's why he's angry. That and he's actually a character that heavily dislikes people blindly looking for wealth. Especially, and he's actually, he originally was in Dark Souls from my understanding. And he likes to lay traps for greedy people. And pretty much, if you go pick up an item and then instantly die because it was bait for a trap, Patches probably did that. But I took a wrong turn. I also decided to try use Bloody Slash. Then I realized it takes it costs health instead of MP. Which at first I thought was manageable. Attempt 2. But yeah, usually if you back off when you're at half health or close to death, Patches will ask you to beg for mercy and give you the emote. beg for mercy emote. Alright. Bloody Slash didn't work. So let's try Wild Strike. Because it's pretty similar to Bloody Slash, but it's Chang. And it doesn't cost HP, which is something you need against a tank. But the main reason why I'm having a lot of trouble is first playthrough I did, I was a sorcerer. A glint blade, glint blade sorcerer. And obviously, range is easier than mosh pit melee. Just shoot a couple of glintstone waves in here. You can pretty much nuke the entire cave. Also, not a lot of people know this, but glintstone wave not only does it pierce enemies, but it also bypasses shield block. Unless they have carrion retaliation. And trust me, you probably don't want to do that. But shields are easily overwhelmed with a flurry of staggering attacks. Essentially, since I've been playing with shield, I know how many times I died with shield. Which gives me knowledge on how to kill a shield. But once you get him to half health, he begs for mercy, and then the fight's over. You can continue the fight,
Finally come round, have you?
but at this point, I was so pissed off already.
Well, what do you know? Now, how did I get? I took you for a demi-human or something.
Then I decided to flat out try to kill him and get his bell bearing.
Truly, I'm patched, tarnished like you, only for now in exchange for my. But honestly, frankly, so don't be. I'll be ready to wheel and deal.
So,
I'll be ready to.
Now, we get to the before we do the Tibian Mariner, I was trying to find the sword key room, because it does contain probably the most useful amulet for a shield build. Which is Stamina Regen Talisman. It may not seem like a lot, but it practically doubles now I remember this dungeon pretty well. And I already knew it was a construct dungeon. Just so you know, hammers will actually do bonus damage and regular strike damage. But with these bastards, protection of the shield's a little more important. Even though they do bleed stack. Which bypasses the fact you have a shield. My money is on their weapons being enchanted to bleed people out with even a faintest cut. But here's a split. Sometimes if you go forward, it's a bonus thing. This case it was. And just so you know, it's always the imp you don't see that gets you. But yeah, that's why you come to these places with empty room pockets. It's mostly because there's just too much of a high chance of you dying and not being able to recollect the runes. But Yeah, I was trying to get these imps to fall into the trap. But you kind of have to like the detail in how they animated the imps. They're probably one of the most well animated enemies in the game. There's this pretty interesting effect with their movements in 60 FPS. YouTube, due to compression reasons, usually cuts the videos down to 30 frames. But there's also a lot of glove work in here, which is pretty rare. There's not as many bell bearings for it. I'm going to have to cut it here. Alright. I'm not going to try to re-get my runes. Well, essentially, yeah, imps are pretty inconsistent enemies. Probably in a tier list of enemies. The Fanged Imps would probably rank pretty high on the unfair list. Due to their nature. Ah, yes, the gladiator. So, he's a humanoid enemy. Pretty much so far in all of these, Oh yeah, this is where I find out he has, an animated, almost pretty much, insta-kill. By the way, most insta-kill, attacks and the like are actually not insta-kill. It's a vigor check. If you have enough vigor, you will survive. But also damage calculation is another input. If memory serves correct, the Godric soldier set I'm wearing pretty much, memory serves correct, the Godric soldier set is pretty weak against blunt damage. Now, the wolves, I think I said this a few times. Alright. Back to, footage. Oh, it's been a while since I did this. I think this is where oh wait, yeah, I think this is the part where I got lost, looking for, Holy Slash. Which is the first wholly attuned ore of ash you get in the game. Without going to, late game areas. But, essentially what I did was, oh wait, that's right. I was looking for, oh, the Short Key place. Because there's a really good early game item that's pretty good late game too. Turtle Talisman of Stamina. Now, Stamina regen is probably one of the most unsung stats in the entire game. Every action costs stamina. You can only recharge stamina by not doing anything aside from walking, for example. It is by far the best stat to have in a talisman slot for pretty much any build. Nope, I think I got lost looking for Holy Slash. Wait, nope, I think I was looking for the mine. Yep, there. Right, need to get stones, smithing stones for later. And we're going to skip back to there because I got lost. Forget exactly that tunnel I found. I think it's the one with the pot dude just waiting for you to open the door, but you have to go to Caelid and open the door for him. Wait, no, I think I was thinking previous episode. I already have Holy Slash. So, pretty much killing the Tibia Mariner. I decided to try to dual wield, but most Ashes Award don't have a bonus for dual wielding, but it's there for combo. Now, pretty much another interesting little thing. Well, our newer players don't realize this, but any Ash of War that puts a buff on your weapon for free, like Holy Slash, makes it more FP efficient than any other way you can get it. Yes, you do lose FP shooting off a beam or whatever the fuck, but it's that lingering elemental damage that really helps you. Again, any undead enemy is extremely allergic to being bludgeoned to death and holy. Also, I did some tooling figuring this out, but I tried, even if you two-hand an item, you can't use its Ash of War if it's in your offhand, even if you're two-handing. I can see why it would definitely... Oh, this is where I was, went to Kaled and, pretty much messing around. Almost died a lot. Investigating that little place there. Realized it wasn't worth anything. Might be a good rune farm, but only if you're not melee. I do know clay people are very weak to glintstone. Oh, right. This is the part where I decided to backtrack and do the tutorial. And that's the magic thing about this game. The tutorial is 100% optional, but if memory serves correct, the boss at the end actually does drop a pretty good leveling melee weapon. And the thing is, I kind of like trying to find what is the, the tools to help you beat bosses. With this open world nature of the game, it really adds to the diversity of this game. When you look at pretty much each and every type of weapon as a tool. Some tools are really good at some things, really bad at others. For example, you don't use a hammer on a screwdriver. I mean, a hammer on a screw. And you don't use a screwdriver on a nail. But every tool can be used as a hammer if you do it correctly. But different bosses actually do have different weaknesses And they're actually, most of the time, they're heavily telegraphed in some manner. Essentially, in a shield fight, it's person who strikes first will always lose in this game. But so pretty much each and every boss has a unique set of weaknesses. And not only that, but you need to use the items and weapons correctly in key points in boss fights, because certain weapons and abilities need a level of key timing, or else they're going to get interrupted. And pretty much each and every weapon and item has different timings and when they can be used in a boss fight, and not result in your death. So, I completely forgot stealth was in this game. And if you're wondering, yes, it is in the game. But it's pretty much the worst. Oh, no, it's pretty solid. It's just the main problem. Once you get seen and sought out, pointed out, you lose pretty much all of your effectiveness. Unless you have the correct items and gear for it. For example, probably the most interesting is any armor, plate, or chainmail will actually have a reduced chance of, an increased chance of being found while moving in stealth. And considering Godric's soldier's armor is chainmail, I'm not going to be doing stealth unless I change my clothes. Alright. Back to commentating over game footage. So, with that done, we have officially beat the tutorial. and collected the stance. Which you can only get by beating the tutorial. So now we can emote in pride to prove we have beaten the tutorial with this character. I took a look at the dungeon down there and realized it's very poisonous and might... Alright. So, essentially, before we can do that little mini dungeon, we need...
Those who live in death should be left well.
Well, I decided I needed
should you spy a mariner among their number.
Poison cure spell. I can cure poison spell.
Well, another fool who won't listen to reason.
Which is...
but with a prowess for weeding deathroot.
Pretty usable. Then I don't need to hunt down the resources needed to make
If you're inclined
poison
to help
cleansing
those who live in
boluses.
death and weed their deathroot, then I'll introduce you to Garank, the beast clergyman. I have a matter of my own to attend to.
Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. I'm okay and fine with, you know, putting a crafting recipe to a certain item. The whole part of
a hidden gateway.
making certain crafting
The beast clergyman.
resources tied to enemy drops, like string. You can only get string from a very specific enemy type in the entire game. And you can't harvest any other way. You can't buy it either. So there isn't a merchant with it as a majigger. Well, as a thing to sell. So pretty much with all the runes I accumulated in this span, I decided to upgrade Spirit Ashes. Now we're turning in our Death Roots. Now, I have been playing with the Beastal spells, and they're kind of a disappointment.
Feeding me.
They don't do good damage. They're supposed to scale with strength, but also have a faith component. Pretty much the only thing that they're missing, in my opinion, is, you know, the ability to apply a status. And I kind of think it would make a whole lot of sense to be able to anoint the your weapon, and they take on that effect. You know, for example, you put poison grease on your weapon. Those attacks should also do poison I mean, those spells should do poison damage. But that might be a balancing nightmare. But it's a balancing nightmare for something that is so unusable. I'm giving it any outlandishly OP outlying abilities would actually make it good. And it would encourage interreactions. You know, like have it be a secret interreaction. You know, don't put in a patch note. Just it's there. Because so far from what I've seen, even trying them, they're shit. Some of them are heavily telegraphed. And pretty much the only good one, I actually seen a video where someone decided to rate all of the spells type categories based off the damage they do. You know, for example, you can only use lightning skills this run. I mean, spells. And in his bestial incantation chapter, I shit you not, the only thing he could use to kill enemies was bestial rock sling. I also took with a great salt the fact that he was in New Game Iteration 9. But I tried it myself. I think later in the videos, later in my playthroughs, I recorded everything, including me fucking around looking for shit. It should be in there somewhere, but if not in this video, the next one. But that's sort of the gimmick with bestial spells. And it kind of makes sense if you look at it in a lore perspective why they're shit. It's because they were the first magic conceived. Even before the Crucible Knights. Essentially, it's caveman magic. And there's the main reason why it doesn't do much compared to all of the other spells. It's because those ones are refined. People have been striving to make those spells more intricate, more complex. Comparing a weave of a lightning spell, for example, to bestial incantations is pretty much comparing a house made by someone who has no idea how to make a house, and whoever thought it was a good idea to use MS Paint as the design software for the house and rendering the blueprints for the house, to someone who actually has a license to build a house and the permits. It also has a designer who knows all of the intricacies. So, That's kind of the problem with bestial incantations. Main reason why they suck compared to other incantations is caveman magic. They're literally just weak weaves that are simple. For Christ's sake, the best one is you using telekinesis to pull a giant boulder out of the ground and lob it at enemies. Another one is you just use magic to spawn pointy rock daggers. I think that one's called Bestial Sling. It does shotgun damage, but essentially you're just throwing gravel at people. Magic gravel, but the point is caveman magic. Pretty much the best, again, thing you can say is they suck for a reason, and literally tying them to a quest line that is arguably one of the more intriguing ones, lore-wise, in a game. In Elden Ring, which points out an undertone much later into the game, but that's the thing. They're made to suck. About the only complaint you can have is, oh, the bestial incantations are much better in the hands of practically every enemy in the game than they are for you. And that's being done with the seal specifically. That specifically buffs them. So here I'm taking this this encampment out. I'm just pretty much collecting as many waypoints in this area as I can before I start truly exploring. Then I kind of don't want to go too far in because we haven't killed Godric yet. But getting this waypoint now, since we're so close, is better than, if I do it now, I don't have to do it later. Interestingly, the cuckoo shards, I have noticed an interesting interaction with wolves. Whenever, I mean, the wolves have a limited dodge ability for projectiles, but the cuckoo shards have a really hard time picking one of them out and homing to them. Oh yes, I'm trying to decide which hat's better. The hat I'm currently wearing is best for physical damage, when that one has slightly better elemental damage and all. I do have the Knight's Helm, but it makes me a little too heavy. Yeah, slow roll is probably the worst roll in the game. The lighter your load, the faster you roll. The faster you roll, the more invincibility frames you have to play with. Essentially, your one of my favorite design philosophies in this game and all Dark Souls games, from what I can find out, is damage mitigation comes at the cost of movability. Now, I've played Path of Exile for a long time, and it has a lot of RPG mechanics that just don't translate well in a true Dark Souls game. One of which is evasion. It pretty much reduces the likelihood of you being hit by an enemy and taking damage. But it can never outrule, 100% guarantee it. But it has a problem. It's less effective with fast and rapid attacks. And there's actually a slight hidden cooldown within the game that prevents you from face tanking an entire horde of enemies. It's pretty much really good against one enemy at a time. But if you go to the Marauder side, or melee, any melee, armor is the king. Instead of reducing the likelihood of you being hit, it reduces the physical damage dealt by a percentile. But there's a catch. The more armor you have, the less movability you have. Evasion doesn't have that limitation. Pretty much making it so that your high armor can be as much of an impediment as a boon. But the more damage an attack does, the less effective the armor is. There is actually a fall-off point to how good armor works in Path of Exile. Then we have Energy Shield, which it's pretty much a second health bar that refills quicker than your life, considering most characters that have Energy Shield have an inability to get life regen outside of flasks. There's a little bit of a platforming puzzle here to get an item. It is possible, but it's a pretty precise jump here. Ooh. But sort of the problem I run into Path of Exile. You get this problem with it, including most Diablo clones, and that is it has a bit of an identity crisis with how the game works. Pretty much, there are boss fights that are heavily telegraphed, akin to Elden Ring. And then there is fucking bullet hell. It also doesn't help certain things will actually hinder you pretty well. But it's definitely one of those games where skill is primarily a good thing, but if you don't have good ping, occasionally you just get nuked. But that's going to be pretty much it for this episode of Elden Ring. Hope you guys come back for another episode and see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.